Hello. Kann dich nicht hören. Bist du muted?
Not anymore.
Okay.
So I figured out what was going on. Have you ever looked at this flow chart on the end to lean stuff?
No, I have not.
So it's to help I know what adjective endings to use.
Okay.
And so, I've been really struggling with that. But this really helped me. And then when I came up to that question today that I messaged you about,
Uh-huh.
it didn't seem like it made sense based on this. And then I realized that the problem was that I didn't know what she meant by, is the article in the original form? Meaning, is it ein or is it einen or einem? That would
Right,
tell
right,
you
right.
it's not in nominative. So now I know. I'm still pretty slow to work it all out, but I'm
Well,
getting
that's
there.
okay because they're not easy. And the thing is once you get it, and if I really genuinely believe understanding the rules is the way to learn these. There's no shortcut.
Right.
And
Right.
I really do believe that Germans, unless they teach German or they're, taking German or something, they can't explain it either.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So we had a big discussion here about it because my son and his girlfriend are here right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's studying German. He's ahead of me, but he's studying.
Mm-hmm.
She is German. And so we were debating back and forth, and it was like, yes, she said it should definitely be ES ending. But then I was holding this up and saying, but I don't understand. Anyway, it's all clear now.
Good, 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 good.
But yeah, that's an example of, and she's really good at grammar.
Mm-hmm.
But even still, sometimes it's just like me with English. Like I couldn't tell you why it's that way, but
Yeah.
that's
Well,
just how it is.
that's what's interesting is because there is so much English grammar stuff that we really don't, we might use it, but we really don't know that we're using it or we don't use it correctly. And
Yep.
it's so hard to figure out. Um,
Yes.
there when I was teaching English, I always wanted to teach, teaching English to English learners at the language school. I always wanted more advanced students because the beginning students, you just couldn't break some of these. I couldn't do it, break it down to the point where they really understood. And what they needed to know it for was to pass the language tests, not so much that they could
Oh,
use it correctly, but to pass a language test. And I was like, oh my gosh, are you teaching just for the test? So
exactly.
that was kind of weird. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, there's stuff that, I brought it to my English high school students and they're like, what the heck does that mean? And I said, exactly, and do we use this? And it's like, I don't know. So we read a sentence and they're like, you've got to be kidding me. And they're like, who talks like that? And I said, okay, remember, there's a difference between the way we talk and
Yeah.
the way we write. And I said, this
Yep.
is how you're supposed to write. And they're like, yeah, sure. Who would read this? And I'm like, but seriously, I said, if you read, you know, good literature, I think the thing that throws everybody is contemporary literature is written like we speak.
Yeah.
And so a lot of those, conventions are just thrown out. It makes you wonder, do these authors know this? And I know like young English teachers are clueless. They cannot teach grammar.
Yeah, I'm
And
sure.
yeah, and I think that that's something that is frustrating because I do think you need to teach kids the right way to write.
Well,
And
and that's something Jake and I were just talking about, that we wouldn't have, I like to think I could have, but subject, object, indirect object, um, all of that is just, and maybe we talked about it somewhere along the line, but I don't
I
remember
don't
him going through it.
I don't think so because I
I
do
don't
remember being in
either.
high school and everything was literature based.
Yes,
There was
yes,
hardly any grammar done. I was
yes.
lucky because one of my English teachers in high school was the Latin teacher too. So
Oh,
English grammar she was good at it. But still, a lot of stuff wasn't taught. It was all about, literature based and, those kinds of things. And a lot of grammatical mistakes were just kind of brushed over. And it's kind of like, well, that doesn't help because then you get to college and you're writing papers for professors and they're like, did you grow up in a barn? Did you go to high school? Did you
yep,
ever take English in high school? So, I think it's a real big disservice that
yeah.
students are not learning grammar. I've decided gave a little quiz to see what my students knew, and most of them did well, the ones that took it, because we have a big absentee issue, actually were pretty darn good. There were
Oh,
some
good.
that don't know why the thing's wrong. And I said, don't worry about it. We'll go over it and we'll start doing some grammar stuff because it will help your writing. Because I notice it in their writing. I mean, they write atrocious. Some write really well and others atrociously. And it's
Mm-hmm.
interesting
Mm.
because they speak very well. They can have a discussion
Yeah,
and use, good
yep.
vocabulary and everything. But gosh, when they sit down to write, they write a paragraph and it's just one sentence. And it's like, did you ever stop to take a breath, And I've made them read
Right.
it. I go, read this out loud and don't breathe,
Absolutely. That's what I
and
tell all my employees too at work.
yeah,
If, before you submit that for our newsletter, read it out loud and
yeah, yeah. I think reading it out loud is probably the best advice I ever got from a teacher. I got it from a German teacher that said, read it out loud in German, and then you can hear it if it's wrong.
uh-huh.
You will pick it
I
up.
could see that. Mm-hmm.
So, and it is so true about, English too, that if you read it out loud, you
Yeah.
will hear it. Um, you know, all of a sudden it'll, I always tell them, I said, it'll bother your ear like there's something not right here.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting, no grammar taught for years, many kids, and then, there was that thing, gosh, luckily it was before my daughter went to school, where everybody was just told to write and it was okay if you made mistakes. And I was like, okay, that is like the worst thing and my mother-in-law was a teacher and she goes, okay, this is a great way to teach kids how to be terrible writers and spellers. They're
Yeah.
never going to learn
Yeah.
because
Not
it's so
good.
much harder to fix a mistake than it is just to teach it to them right the first time.
Yep. Yes.
So yeah, it's frustrating. So wo sind unsere Studenten? Jaime habe ich
I wonder.
für eine Zeit nicht mehr gesehen. Ich hoffe, er ist okay. Er hat gesagt, dass er viel arbeitet.
I hope you're feeling better.
Yes, danke. Yeah, I think just a little stomach thing. There's been stuff going around,
Oh,
you
I
know.
have half of my staff is homesick, and
Wow.
one of the people who's not homesick has a sick child, and she's been home with him, but she's
Oh,
back.
wow. Well, we just got notification that somebody at the school tested positive for COVID, not that they have COVID. So that's really gone way, way down. But
Yeah,
there's that flu going around, although I got the flu shot and everything, and I got the latest booster. Um, but there's still a couple of students that have colds, And I go,
Yeah.
do you need a Kleenex? No, I'm okay. And I'm like, oh my gosh, here, just have a
Yeah,
Kleenex,
you
you
need a
know? I mean, it's like
Kleenex.
you're not, it's like reminds me of a 5-year-old. Just blow your nose. Um, clear your throat, cough it up,
Oh, man, no kidding.
It's like you're older than this. I said you can
Oh,
step outside, we have a little door, we have a little garden in the back. Not that they've done anything in years, but supposedly they're gonna do something. And I always tell them, I said, you can just go out there and blow your nose and shut the door, we'll let you back in. And but yeah, it's been something. And just,
yeah,
terrible. And
there's
I get
a
stress.
lot.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think that the stress doesn't help. It's been kind of crazy. We've been getting such misinformation.
yeah.
It's been like we were supposed to do testing today, so we start, and the principal comes in, she goes, "Where did you guys decide to do this? Who said to do this?" And I'm like, "We talked about it at our meeting last Thursday." She goes, "Hmm." She goes, "I don't know if the window's open." And I said, "Well, the kids were able to get in. Doesn't that mean the window's open? Because if they're not testing in the right window, then the state doesn't collect the data."
Oh, shoot.
And I just went, "We're not making these kids do this again." I said, "They hate this," because most of our kids are just screwing around. And had this kid come in,
Yeah,
he goes, "I read at a first grade level." I said, "No, you don't." I said, "I've had you read out loud. You're fine." I go, "This is what happens when you mess around. You really need to take this stuff seriously. Aren't you curious?" And I mean, I
yeah,
have some students that struggle in reading, and it's not that they're English learners or anything like that. They just don't read. The majority of the kids
yeah,
I have read very well, and I'm like, "Your test scores don't match this, how well you read." So, I have
yeah,
one student I think that took it seriously, not that she does anything else, but she's very bright. So, I don't know what they're gonna do with her because all she does is play video games.
mm.
She's polite, she's nice, but when you tell her to do something, she goes, "No, I don't think so."
Oh my
I'm just
God.
like, "What do you do with that?" It's like, "Alrighty,
I don't know.
your
I don't
grade,
know.
not mine."
Yep, yep.
I don't
Wow.
know, yeah. I mean, it's just, then one of the counselors said, "Well, she's trying to get at her parents." And I said, "Okay. And how is that working when she's flunking out again?" And they're like, "I don't know." Because I made the comment, I said, "What are we going to do with her? Are you sending her back to her homeschool?" Or supposedly she's going to take the GED, and I'm sure she'll ace it. But she's not following through because they can take it here at the college, but they have to take a prep course. Otherwise, they can't take it. So I'm just
Oh,
like, get signed up. I don't know what the prep
just do
course,
it, right?
just get it done and leave. It's not the
Right.
equivalent of a high school diploma. But I read a job thing the other day and I was appalled. We're pushing these kids to at least get high school diplomas, and yet a GED is good enough for some of these jobs.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, that doesn't bode well.
Interesting.
So
Interesting.
I always tell them, I said, I'd get that high school diploma just in case. You
Yeah, no
don't know if
kidding.
the GED is going to cover you or not.
Yeah, and then you very well may get into the job and realize that you should have been in class.
Yeah, yeah. That's I don't know. That's a frustrating thing is these kids don't a lot of them work in food service. And
Yeah,
I'm like, is this what you want to do the rest of your life? Not that there's anything wrong with it,
right,
but I hear
right.
you guys complaining. So
It's nice to have options.
yeah, and
Yeah.
and some of them are learning. We graduated 4 last term, and now they're all gun ho about coming to city college, to the community college, all of a
Oh,
sudden. And
oh,
I'm like, good, because something clicked. And
well, that's great.
so we're gonna try to, the other English teacher and I are gonna try to take a group out here. I told her, I said, we're getting too far close to the end of the semester here this semester. But I said, maybe in the spring at the beginning, take them to a class. Let them sit in on a college class
Yeah, yeah,
and see how different it is from high school. Because I don't think it's
yes.
just a continuation. I'm like, oh
I
my
know
gosh, you guys are
that.
in for a rude awakening.
Yeah,
It's so much better,
yeah,
you know.
yes. College is way better,
And I
way
said,
better.
you just have to do this part. I says, just like you have to do the driving test online and then the driving practice, and then you can go get your license. They don't
Yeah,
just
right.
hand you a license. So
Are you planning to teach 103 in the winter or
yes, yes,
spring?
yeah.
Okay, good.
They've already got that set up. I'm going to teach 101 and 103.
Okay,
So,
awesome. I need to get signed up for that.
yeah, I think they started today, but they do it
Oh.
in groups. There's priority groups and such. So
Okay,
I don't know
all
if they
right.
send notifications when it's time for you to register. I don't know how it's done. I know
Yeah.
the high school kids can't. They have to wait till the
Oh,
very end of
mm,
registration, and then because I think right now it's priority registration, those that are in certain categories. I looked it up the other day because we were going to bring some catalogs in, and I was told today, oh no, everything's online, which I thought had happened, but
hmm.
I wasn't sure because we have so many kids that though they spend half their life on their phones and so on, when you ask them to do something online, they're like, can't I just do it on paper? And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Nobody does anything on paper. So, anyway,
Oh gosh.
too fun. So etwas Neues, Interessantes übers Wochenende.
Oh, what did we do over the week? Hmm. What did we do over the weekend? I can't even remember. Wow. But last night was Halloween.
Uh-huh.
So it's just nice having Jacob and Chrissy here in town.
Oh, I bet. I bet.
Yeah.
She get to experience some Halloween.
Yes. We
Oh,
went
good.
to a friend's house and she dressed up and we all dressed up, but it was fun.
Oh, good. Sehr gut.
Yes.
Sehr gut. All right. So, eine WG gründen und einrichten. So ein WG ist das gemeinsame Wohnen, right? So it's that, where people, excuse me, different groups share a living or a space. So wir hören, was Mathilde zu sagen hat. Mathilde, wir haben vorher von ihr gelesen. So we've already heard from Matilda. We read that article about her. Okay. Okay. Yes. Zoom, komm zurück. Okay. So, hier ist, was sie gesagt hat vorher im Lesen. Unsere Wohngemeinschaft ist ein Haus, in dem Menschen wohnen und in dem Menschen arbeiten. Also es ist ein Arbeitswohnhaus. Wir haben circa 15 Räume, die zum Wohnen und zum Arbeiten da sind. Und dann noch 2 oder 3 Räume, die von allen gemeinschaftlich genutzt werden. Wir haben 5 Badezimmer. Das ist fast ein bisschen viel, ich glaube. Mit 4 würden wir auch zurechtkommen, aber wir haben auch Badezimmer, die barrierefrei zu nutzen sind. Und das hat sich einfach so ergeben auf den unterschiedlichen Stöcken, dass es dann 5 Badezimmer geworden sind. Die Badezimmer mussten wir selber einbauen. Das Haus hatte keine Badezimmer. So she said they have about 15 people living there and they work and live there. She said there are 2 oder 3 Räume, die von allen gemeinschaftlich genutzt werden. So there's 2 to 3 rooms that everybody uses. 5 Badezimmer. And she feels that 5 bathrooms are a little bit much. But she said they have one that's barrier free to use, and that just kind of happened in the different floors. But she said they had to build their own bathrooms. The house came without a bathroom, which is kind of interesting.
Very strange. Yeah.
Ja, so ist die WG von Mathilde eher groß oder klein? So wenn man 15
Gross.
Räume hat, ja, ist das bestimmt groß. Wie viele Menschen wohnen in der WG oder können in der WG wohnen?
15.
Mindestens 15, right? Okay, vielleicht auch mehr, wenn mehr im Zimmer sein könnten. I guess she might be able to have more people if people are willing to share bedrooms.
Oh,
aber, wenn man für sich sein will. Und das sind erwachsene Leute, nicht Studenten. These are adults, so most likely they would want to have their own room. Okay, so sie sagt
Mhm.
dann, die Badezimmer mussten wir selber einbauen. Das Haus hatte keine Badezimmer. Wie verstehen Sie das? Was mussten die Mitbewohnerinnen machen? Ich würde denken, das ist ein altes Haus gewesen und vielleicht war das die Toilette draußen oder das Haus war ein Büro, aber auch ein Büro hätte ein Badezimmer haben sollen. So yeah, I'm kind of confused about that too. Why a house would not have at least a bathroom,
Yeah,
even if it was as a set up as office buildings. You would think that it would at least come with one or two bathrooms. So
excuse me a moment. I
sure,
need
sure.
to disable the doggy door. Hold
Okay,
on.
kein Problem.
We have an automatic one and the
Mhm.
dogs wear a collar that activates it. And one dog was napping here and it was just going up and down, up and down, up and down. Driving me crazy.
This is lustig. That's pretty funny. So was bedeutet das Wort gründen? What do you think that word means?
Grunden,
Uh-huh.
green something.
Nein, nicht die Farbe und nicht, dass es ökologisch ist. Wenn man etwas gründet, it's like you're establishing it.
Oh,
You're going to, it's like you're founding it. I know that's not the right word,
oh,
but
okay,
you're going to establish
okay,
it. Okay,
okay.
so
Yeah, I see now.
die erzählt uns dann davon.
Also ich war nicht dabei, die zu gründen. Es waren zwei meiner Mitbewohnerinnen, hatten die Idee. Die haben auch das Haus gesucht und die wollten eben ein Haus finden, das entweder schon barrierefrei ist oder dass man barrierefrei umbauen kann. Also das auch für Rollstuhlfahrer und Rollstuhlfahrerinnen gut zu benutzen ist. Und sie haben eben dieses Haus gefunden und haben dann Freundinnen und Freunde und Leute, die sie kannten, gefragt, ob sie mit einziehen wollen. Und so hat sich die Gruppe dann gefunden. Viele haben sich untereinander nicht gekannt. Und das ist eben eine sehr gemischte Gruppe, verschiedene Sprachen, Menschen im Rollstuhl, Menschen, die gehen können, Kinder, Erwachsene, Menschen, die als Flüchtlinge in Österreich leben, Menschen, die schon lange in Österreich leben, unterschiedliche Sprachen, unterschiedliches Alter, ja, sehr gemischt.
All right, so sehr interessant. Sie sagte am Anfang, dass die Freunde, sie war nicht dabei, so she wasn't part of the founding of it, the Gründen. But she came then later to live there. So they came and they were looking for a house that was, free to do with as they please, that there were no restrictions. And so they were looking for something that was, handicapped, accessible. And then she describes the people that live there. There's all kinds of adults, children, people from different countries. She said there's a lot of different languages.
Wow.
Flüchtlinge. So Flüchtlinge are people that have left a country that are they came to Austria to establish new homes. Refugees, there we go.
Yeah.
And so it's just, just totally different. There's just lots of different people living there. And that is the true definition of das Wort WG. That was the idea behind Ein WG, is that it is open to all kinds of different people, and everybody is there to kind of help each other out. It's communal living, but not the kind that we think about.
Yeah.
Everybody
Is that
agrees.
common? Is that common there?
Yeah, it is. It's in
Wow.
a lot of places in Germany, Austria, Switzerland. I'd say probably in a lot of the European countries,
Mhm.
because it is a way for people to be able to afford to live.
Yeah,
They have some kind of help. And people that just don't want to live alone.
right.
There's some that sense of community, that and especially for people that are new to a country, it's a great way to kind of get in, especially when there's other people from other countries that have been in the same boat, so that they kind of get some information. So it is a very it's an interesting way to live, but also, I think it's very efficient,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
for a lot of people.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So, dann wieder zurück. So, Nebenkosten. Nebenkosten sind, other costs that go
Mhm.
along with, housing or wherever you're living. So, was für Nebenkosten muss man bezahlen, wenn man in folgenden Situationen wohnt? So, if you're living in these various situations, so in einem Studentenwohnheim, so dormitory, was für Nebenkosten gibt es? So, what kind of
Mm,
costs? Basically, there's a cost that would come out of pocket.
Essen.
Essen, okay.
Um, hmm. Everything except for sleeping, probably.
Ja,
So that's like a dorm.
it's like a dorm, ja. Gibt es nicht auch in Studentenheime, wo man auch das Essen dabei hat? Don't some of the dorms also provide meals?
For, yes, well, meal plans.
Meal plans, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Aber vielleicht müssen sie für den Transport bezahlen.
Right, yeah.
Transportation. Und das
Ja.
gibt's auch in Deutschland. I mean, da muss jeder, man bekommt es verbilligt. It's, reduced rates, but you have to have the bus pass, the train pass. I mean, es ist verbilligt. You have student,
Mhm.
tickets and things
Pricing.
like that, but still, those are things they'd have to pay for. All right. In einer Wohnung, so in ein
Is
apartment.
that an apartment?
Yeah.
Extra costs in an apartment.
Ja, hier gibt's vielleicht, wo man den Strom bezahlen muss, electricity. A lot of times
Oh,
they don't pay for electricity. Für
right,
das Telefon, für den
yes. Internet.
Internet, Kabel vielleicht, Kabel, Fernseh, whoever's doing cable TV. Das noch, aber in viele Wohnungen ist das Wasser dabei, der Müll dabei. What's noch? I haven't lived in an apartment in so long, I don't remember what all is included. I mean, it definitely isn't wie in einem Haus, wo
Right.
man hier alles bezahlen muss. Das
Yeah.
ist so ganz anders, dass man den Strom, das Gas, das Wasser, den Müll,
Gardener.
den Gärtner,
Garbage.
alles bezahlen muss, ja. Die Versicherung, the insurance on the house, right? Das ist alles in der Wohnung dabei, weil man ja die Wohnung nicht besitzt. So, in einer Villa.
What would that be?
Like a villa, so something, pretty
Like,
big.
Oh, hired help.
Ja, die Arbeiter, die kommen müssen. Was
Yeah.
gibt's noch in einer Villa? Ich habe noch nie in einer Villa gewohnt. So in einer Ferienwohnung oder in einem Ferienhaus. Have a Ferien is vacation, so to have like a vacation house, a vacation apartment. I don't know
Okay.
if you have a vacation apartment, but a vacation house. Auch das alles, was man in einem Haus bezahlt. Und
Mhm.
vielleicht auch, dass man Security bezahlen müsste, dass sie aufpassen
Right.
am Haus.
Yeah. A cleaning deposit.
Yep. Und das alles. Und dann in einer Hütte, in a little hut. Bestimmt nicht viel. Da gibt's bestimmt kein Strom, kein Wasser.
Right. Nothing.
Überhaupt nichts, right? All right, so bisschen mit den perfekt. So, sie haben dieses Haus gefunden. So again, the conjugated haben, the past participle of the main verb. So you found this house. Sie haben dann Freundinnen und Freunde gefragt, ob sie mit einziehen wollen. Okay, so this is with modal verbs. Instead of using the past participle, with modal verbs, you're using the infinitive of the main verb and then the infinitive of the modal verb. So here's the conjugated verb is haben. And then you're doing and then you're using the double infinitive. So what you can do is ich habe essen wollen. So I wanted to eat. So here again, here's the conjugated haben or sign, and then the double infinitive. Okay. Instead of going ich habe essen gewollt. It's not incorrect, but this you're going to see more often as a double infinitive.
Okay.
So hat sich die Gruppe dann gefunden. Viele haben sich dann untereinander nicht gekannt. Okay, so the big thing is to know the past participles of the main verbs and obviously the conjugations of haben or sein.
Right.
And then, was hat diese Person gemacht? So in the perfect, was hat diese Person gemacht?
Gosh. I know it's a farad. Hat ein farad gemacht.
Gefahren.
Gefahren, that's the word.
We can do that. Good. Und in dieses Bild, was haben diese Personen gemacht?
Diese Personen spielen, or no, it would be something gespielt.
Yeah,
haben ein
Spiel gespielt.
Spiel. Played a game.
They played a game. Good. Fix this too. Dass man das später lesen kann. All right, und diese Person, was hat diese Person gemacht?
Hat ein Buch gelesen. What is the word? I'm thinking Spanish. Leer in Spanish. Gelesen.
Gelesen, very good. Und dann diese, was hat diese Person gemacht?
Sie sind, yeah? Sie,
Ist.
say it again.
Sie ist.
Sie ist. Okay. Sie ist, Oh, she's going to the train. Let me think for a second.
Mhm.
Sie ist Gaia. No, I don't conjugate Gaia, huh?
No,
Sie ist der Zug gegangen.
gegangen. All right, so sie ist
Gegangen.
mit dem Zug
Okay,
gegangen oder gereist
right.
oder auch gefahren. Oops. Gefahren. Right, so any of those would work. Sie ist mit dem Zug gegangen, gereist oder gefahren. Na gut.
Okay.
Na gut. All right, Umzug und Mobilität. So umziehen is to move. So, was macht man wann? So, wenn man ein Umzug ist viel Arbeit. Ordnen Sie, was man alles tun muss. Ich glaube, das Buch hat das. Gehen wir wieder zurück zu dem Buch. Oh, meine Lichter sind ausgegangen. Oh. I guess if you don't move a lot, the lights go out in here. All right, so was macht man wann? Vor dem Umzug. So before you move, what do you have to do? Oh, die sind alle so komisch.
Mm,
Okay, so man muss alles einpacken und auspacken. Man muss Möbel in die neue Wohnung transportieren. Man muss mit Vermietern telefonieren. Man muss Wohnung besichtigen. Man kann in der Zeitung und im Internet Wohnsinserate lesen. So, what's available. Man
okay.
muss Boxen organisieren. Man muss sich für eine Wohnung entscheiden. Man muss die Möbel in die Zimmer stellen und man muss der alten und in der neuen Wohnung putzen. Alright, so was ist das allererste, was man machen muss? So what's one of the first things you have to do when you're wanting to move?
I see boxen, packing.
Packing, yeah.
Um, I don't-
So,
Is this to find a place on the internet or in the newspaper? Is that what
Right,
that's saying?
right.
To
Uh-huh.
find a place to move to?
so this
So
is
that
das
one.
allererste, right? That would probably
Right.
be the very first thing
Yeah, yeah.
one would have to do. Dann man muss Wohnungen besichtigen. You'd need to go look at them, right?
Yes.
Bestimmt. Dann muss man muss mit Vermietern telefonieren. So
Vermieten is what?
these are the landlords.
Oh, okay.
You'd have to do that before, aber auch beim Umziehen. You'd have to also talk as you're moving. Well, probably before though.
Yeah,
You can't move unless it's all arranged with
yeah.
the landlord. Oh wait, we forgot this one. So man muss sich für eine Wohnung entscheiden. You have to decide on one.
Oh, okay.
I guess that would be important.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then beim Umzug, so then when you're moving,
Okay. So einpacken and auspacken, pack and unpack, is that what that?
Das ist
So that-
bestimmt hier,
Mhm.
right? Man muss
Boxen,
Boxen,
organisieren.
right? Let's see. Man muss die Möbel in die Zimmer stellen, man muss die Möbel in die neue Wohnung transportieren. Und man muss in der alten und der neuen Wohnung putzen.
What is that? That last one?
So you have to clean the old
Oh,
apartment and the new one. And I
okay.
guess you have to, probably would be here too, because, I mean, you've got to get the stuff out of the one
Yeah.
or clean the one before you get it out. I mean, you still have to, have one empty at a time. You can't be cleaning both places at the same time. Die Möbel transportieren, you have to get them over there. Und dann alles hineinstellen. All right, let's see.
It's
Boxen
not
organisieren.
fair that they take away two for just one.
I know, huh? So I guess you had to do that. You have to organize your boxes beforehand.
Yeah.
What are you
I guess so.
organizing
That
now?
makes sense.
Well, maybe they mean you have to get boxes before you go.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been so long. Ich ziehe nicht
Yeah.
gern I don't like to move. Too much work. Und jetzt, wo man schon lange in einem Platz ist, habe ich so vieles. Right? Man hat so vieles über die Jahre. It's easy to collect a lot of stuff over the years, and when you have to move, it's
Yes.
like, shoot me now.
Yes.
Ich könnte mir das nicht vorstellen. All right, so let's see was Anna sagt.
Oh boy.
Wie oft bist du in deinem Leben schon umgezogen? Ich bin bisher einmal umgezogen. Warum bist du umgezogen? Ich habe vorher in einer Einzimmerwohnung gewohnt. Die war dann zu klein und wollte mich vergrößern und bin deshalb in eine Zweizimmerwohnung gezogen und außerdem wollte ich einen Balkon haben, was in der Einzimmerwohnung nicht war. Wie hast du deine Wohnung gefunden? Ich habe meine Wohnung durch ein Inserat in der Zeitung gefunden.
Noch einmal.
That's rough.
Bist du in deinem Leben schon umgezogen? Ich bin bis
Okay, so sie fragt, bist du schon in deinem Leben umgezogen? So have you ever moved in your life?
Okay.
Anna sagt,
einmal umgezogen.
So einmal umgezogen. She's done it once.
Right.
Warum bist du umgezogen?
So warum umgezogen? Why?
Ich habe vorher in einer Einzimmerwohnung gewohnt. Die war dann zu klein.
Okay, sie hat eine Einzimmerwohnung. So
Too
nur
small.
Zimmer. Ja, es war zu klein, gut.
Wollte mich vergrößern und bin deshalb in eine Zweizimmerwohnung gezogen und außerdem wollte ich einen Balkon haben.
Okay, so sie hat eine Zweizimmerwohnung jetzt und sie wollte einen Balkon.
Balcony.
Was in der Einzimmerwohnung nicht war. Wie hast du deine Wohnung gefunden? Ich habe meine Wohnung durch ein Inserat in der Zeitung gefunden.
Okay, so und dann hat sie die Wohnung in einem Inserat oder eine Reklame in der Zeitung gefunden. So she found her new place in the newspaper.
Okay.
So sie ist einmal umgezogen. Ihre alte Wohnung war eine Einzimmerwohnung, right? Just had one room. Ihre alte Wohnung war zu klein.
Yes.
Ihre neue Wohnung ist eine Dreizimmerwohnung.
I don't remember if she
Nein,
said
es war nur
drei.
zwei Zimmern. Nur zwei.
Zwei.
Zwei-Zimmer-Wohnung. Aha.
Okay.
Und ihre neue Wohnung hat einen Balkon. Und sie hat ihre Wohnung in der Zeitung gefunden.
Right. Okay.
Alright, warum ziehen Leute um? So, why do people move? Was denkst du?
Für die Schule ist School.
Mhm.
Schule für die Kinder.
Mhm. Mhm. Da steht.
Für grosser, hold on. Für großem Haus,
Mhm. Für ein größeres Haus, ja.
größeres.
Mhm.
Mm, to be near familia.
Mhm. Näher zu der Familie, ja.
Yeah.
Oder
familia.
auch weiter weg von der Familie. Some people move to get further away from
Yeah. Yeah.
Für die Arbeit. Leute müssen manchmal umziehen für die Arbeit. Right? People sometimes have to move because of work.
Right.
All right.
You know what? Can you hold on for just a moment?
Yeah.
I'm getting pinged from work. I need to give somebody my credit card number, I think.
Okay, sure.
It'll just be a moment. Oh, I forgot she has. Okay. That was easy.
Gut. All right. So hier haben wir Barbara und Susie. Und Barbara sagt, ich bin vor 25 Jahren mit meiner Familie nach Burberg, einem kleinen Ort in Bayern, gezogen. Wir haben unsere Wohnung durch Bekannte, die selbst in diesem Wohnhaus wohnen, gefunden. Hier sind die Verhältnisse für eine Familie mit Kind hervorragend. Es gibt eine Schule, es gibt einen Kindergarten, der Ort ist nicht groß und übersichtlich. Außerdem gibt es viele Freizeitaktivitäten. Man kann zum Beispiel sehr gut schwimmen, Radfahren und wandern. Es war auch die richtige Entfernung zum Arbeitsplatz von meinem Mann und zu mir. Deswegen haben wir die Wohnung in Burgberg gewählt. Okay, so sie sind vor 25 Jahren umgezogen. So they moved 25 years ago. Und sie hatten etwas gebraucht für ein Kind, so Familie mit Kind. So she says und sie haben die Wohnung durch Bekannte. So these were acquaintances lived in this place and told them when there was an opening. So es gibt Kindergarten. Der Ort ist nicht groß und übersichtlich, so it's not a large and kind of something that's just way too expanded. Viele Freiheitsaktivitäten, Schwimmen, Radfahren und Wandern. Und es ist die richtige Entfernung, so it's the right distance zum Arbeitsplatz von ihrem Mann und zu mir. So das ist der Grund, dass sie nach Burgberg umgezogen sind. Alright, ich lasse dich Susie lesen. I'll let you read Susie. Du bist gemutet.
I was doing so well.
Yeah.
I read the whole thing. You missed it. No. Okay. Nach meinem Studium in Salzburg bin ich wieder nach Linz zurückgezogen. Zuerst habe ich mit meinem Partner in der Innenstadt gewohnt. Dann aber sind wir hierher an den Stadtrand in das Reihenhaus meiner Schwiegereltern gegossen, in dem mein Mann auch aufgewaschen ist. Wir haben dieses Reihenhaus dann übernommen und general saniert, weil die Schwieger, Schwiegereltern, what does that mean?
The in-laws.
Oh, okay. I knew Eltern. Schwiegereltern, eine kleinere Wohnung mit Lift und einem kleinen Keller wollten und nicht mehr ein Haus mit vielen Stufen und mehreren Stocken.
Okay, so sie hat in Salzburg studiert und ist dann zurück nach Linz gezogen und ihr Partner, ja, sie sagt, Debbie,
What it,
go ahead,
what is zurückgezogen?
move back.
Okay.
She moved back. Und dann sie hat mit ihrem Partner in der Innenstadt gewohnt. So Innenstadt is like the downtown area. Und dann aber sind wir hierher an der Stadtrand in das Reihenhaus meiner Schwiegereltern gezogen. So Stadtrand is like, you know, literally the border of the city, but more it's the suburbs. Okay,
Okay.
and then Reihenhaus is, you know, that they have different floors
Got it.
that are, you know, that basically get, ich glaube, die mieten dann die anderen Stücke aus. I think they can rent the other homes, or the other levels. They're all, you know, like separate apartments that can be rented out. There's
That's
like,
how where Jake and Chrissy live.
yeah,
There's
it's
three
that
floors.
Treppenhaus. Yeah, and
Mhm.
everybody's got their own place, and then there's just, you know, the Treppenhaus, you know, the stairs. They all lead, you know, to go
Yes.
to the different floors.
Yep, that's exactly how their place is.
So und das war von wo ihr Mann aufgewachsen ist, her husband grew up in this house. They took it over und general saniert. They did a general renovation, pretty much renovated the whole thing. The Schwiegereltern needed something smaller with an elevator and a small keller, a small basement. And they didn't want a house with so many steps and so many floors. So, you know, they it could be that they, you know, remodeled it so that the bottom area was for the parents and then the rest was for them. I mean, it isn't that one family couldn't live, you know, you couldn't do it in such a way to make, you know, the whole thing for one family. But for the most part, people rent out the other levels because that would be like, I mean, you could see a house that has 4 stories. You know, I don't know how
Yep.
one family would want 4 stories, you know.
Right, exactly. Chrissy said that, so where they are, it's 3. 2 are the same size and they're in the top one, which is a little bit smaller, but she said at one time that it was just one place,
One house, yeah. One big house.
which I can't imagine.
Yeah, the fact of having just to clean it.
Yeah.
You know, at least this way, you know, these people are all responsible for their apartment. You know, basically they split the thing up in apartments. And what's interesting is people stay forever. They don't move as much as you know we do. And I think some of it is, I mean, I don't know what the rents are now, but I do know my mom had a house that she rented out to people for, I swear they were there for 50 years.
Yeah.
40 at least, and then they bought it, you know, because she, you know, my mom was, you know, was at a point where my cousin had kind of overseen it, and he said, you know, what are you guys going to do with this? They want to know, either they want to buy it or they're moving. And, you know, they were ready to own something, and my mom just said, well, we'll just sell it to them. And so, you know, but all I could think of is, wow, you know, how much did they already invest? You know, I just knew what they got.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, what was dished out at the end, I couldn't tell you what the whole thing sold for, because I mean, after all that time, you would think, well, with all the rent they paid,
Right.
I doubt my mom raised the rent very much. It wasn't like she needed the money. So, you know, But yeah, it's, it's a little different than here. I was just reading something in the Independent online that there was a protest about the rents here in Santa Barbara, that it's how expensive. And, right now there's somewhat of a rent control, but I guess not that great. I don't know.
Hmm,
I would be scared to live here and have to rent. I
yeah.
think that would be, I don't know. I've read that people have had to move because the landlords have lied to them and said, oh, and all they wanted to do is raise the rent, and
Hmm,
just like, wow,
that's too bad.
yeah. So, all right. Relative pronomen. We did a little bit of these last week. So, all right. So, relative pronouns and then prepositions. So, remember, we talked about these relative pronouns that, let me put another slide in here. So, when we talk about something, Mann, der auch ein Professor ist, kommt aus Deutsch. Okay, so here's your relative clause, der auch ein Professor ist. So what these pronouns do is basically what they're doing is they're just giving more explanation. We do this in English. The man who is also a professor comes from Germany.
Hmm,
In German, what the gender of the pronoun depends on the antecedent or the noun that they're modifying, that they're talking about. So in this case,
okay.
it's der Mann, so this has to be masculine. The case is based on its function in the clause. So in this case, der ist auch ein Professor. So in this case, it's nominative because it's the subject of the clause. But they can be, dative, they can be accusative, they can follow prepositions. Okay, but
So tell me again why this one is nominative?
because in this clause, it's the
Uh-huh,
subject.
okay.
Ist auch ein Professor. These relative clauses are set up the same as the subordinate clauses. The conjugated verb is at the end of the clause, but this is always a pronoun.
Mm-hmm.
And, the relative pronouns are der, die, das, und die. And then, of course, if it's accusative, it's Dane. Oops, what did I just do? Come back. Die, das und die. And then in the dative, they're sorry, dame.
I finally got those memorized.
Yay. Der, dame und dame. Okay, so basically they're just what the dare words are.
Okay.
Actually, this one's Danen. Sorry,
Oh,
is it? No, sorry, I'm jumping ahead to the genitive case.
don't do that.
Don't worry about that. Sorry about so they agree in gender and number with the noun that are the noun that's preceding them, because this is what the relative pronouns, they have to be following the noun that they are talking about. Okay.
Okay.
And then their case depends on what they're doing in here.
Okay.
So let me see. Ich glaube, ich habe paar. All right. So the position of the relative pronoun of the verb in German. And this is again talking about the prepositions. We talked about these a little bit. Okay, so these are all, so let's go back. We'll just do some of these, a couple more of these. Ich arbeite mit ich sehe die Frau, die, let's see, die, die auch eine Lehrerin ist. All right, so here, die Frau, so it's feminine, so this, the relative pronoun needs to be feminine. And then again, in this case, it's nominative, because again, it's the subject of die auch eine Lehrerin ist. Okay. And again, it's same setup as the subordinate clause. The conjugated verb is at the end of the clause. So when we're working with prepositions, so relative pronouns and prepositions, die Wohnung, in die Karen morgen zieht, liegt am Stadtrand. So the apartment into which Karen is moving tomorrow is at the rim of the city, or the outside of the city. All right, so in die Karen morgen zieht, the die refers back to the apartment, but it follows a preposition. So it has to, its case is going to be dependent on its, what kind of preposition it is. In is a two-way preposition. So in this case, it's accusative because wohin zieht Karen in die Wohnung. Okay, so it's asking the question, to where is Karen moving? So it has to be accusative because it's answering the question, to where. Here is das Sofa, auf dem unsere Katze so gern sitzt, steht in der Sonne. All right, so das Sofa is neuter. Dem is dative because the auf is a two-way preposition, and it answers the question, wo sitzt die Katze? Where is the cat? Not to where is it going to sit, but where is it sitting? Okay, so it's neuter, and we know that the neuter dative is dame. Okay, so the gender still has to agree with the noun that it follows, but its case is going to be dependent on those prepositions, what the preposition is saying. Der Mitbewohner, mit dem Karen sich gut versteht, sieht morgen aus. So the roommate with whom Karen gets along well moves tomorrow. So mit always takes the dative. So this is masculine dative. Okay, has to be dative because of the mit, has to be masculine because of der Mitbewohner. Und dann hier die zwei Schlafzimmer, für die ich noch Lampen brauche, haben sonst alles. So the two bedrooms for which I still need lamps have everything else. So für always takes accusative. Die is plural, so it's plural accusative. Okay. So gender is the noun that it follows, but the case is dependent on these prepositions.
Okay.
All right, so in sentences where the relative pronoun is preceded by a preposition, the relative pronoun reflects the class and number of the noun it defines. In die Wohnung, in die ich morgen ziehe, liegt am Stadtrand. The relative pronoun is die because Wohnung is a die noun in the singular. Und dann the case of the relative pronoun is determined by the relative pronouns function within the relative clause. When you work with a preposition, it is the preposition which defines the case. So that means accusative prepositions, bis, durch, für, gegen, ohne, und in relative clauses also use the accusative. Dative prepositions, aus, außer, bei, mit, nach, seit, von, und zu, we'll use the dative. Two-way prepositions, on, auf, in, neben, über, unter, hinter, vor, zwischen. In relative clauses, either use the accusative for wohin or dative for wo.
Okay,
All right, since für is an accusative preposition, the relative pronoun is in the accusative. Das Schlafzimmer, für das ich noch eine Lampe brauche, hat sonst alles. So the für makes this have to be accusative. Mit is dative. Karen sucht eine Mitbewohnerin, mit der sie sich gut versteht, with whom she understands herself. Mit will take the dative. So der is dative feminine. Sorry. In und auf are both two-way prepositions. In this example above describes destination. Where is Karen moving to? Relative pronoun is in the accusative. So die Wohnung, in die Karen morgen zieht, liegt am Stadtrand. So wohin zieht sie? Where is she moving to? So it's answering to whom. So this is accusative. And the auf is describing the location. Wo ist die Katze? So it's dative. Das Sofa, auf dem unsere Katze so gern sitzt, steht in der Sonne. Okay. Neuter, dative. All right, so let's practice some of these clauses. So in this chapter, we can pick some of these clauses out. All right, so here, finden Sie alle Relativpronomen im Akkusativ im Text. So all of these are going to be in the accusative. So see if you can go through each sentence and see if you can find what the relative clause or relative pronoun is. Und das erste, Karin hat eine neue Wohnung, in die sie mit ihrer Freundin Hannah zieht. So what's the pronoun?
Why am I struggling with this? D?
Mhm.
Oh,
Right,
okay,
right here, indeed.
okay,
So, Karen has a new apartment in which she with her friend
Okay.
are moving, with her friend Hannah are moving. Okay, good.
okay.
Die Wohnung, in der letzte Woche noch die Handwerker gearbeitet haben, liegt am Stadtrand.
There,
In der. So
in there.
Wohnung in der. Good. So der is the relative pronoun. Good. Die Küche, für die Hannah und Karen noch einen Kühlschrank wollen, ist relativ klein.
Für die,
Okay, gut. In der Küche steht auch der Tisch, über den sie eine schöne Lampe gehängt haben.
Dane,
Das Wohnzimmer, durch das man auf den Balkon kommt, ist das größte Zimmer in der Wohnung.
Dane. No.
No, das ist den Balkon. That this goes together.
Oh, okay, so. Is it? Das?
Mhm.
Das man?
Right here, so das Wohnung durch das. Accusative because of the durch.
Okay,
Der Balkon, auf den Sie einen Tisch und zwei Stühle gestellt haben, geht nach Süden.
Dane.
Mhm. In der Nähe gibt es viele Geschäfte, bei denen man gut einkaufen kann.
There's the Danen from.
Yeah, so you were, I was
Genitive.
right. Yep. I'll have to go back and fix that side. It's dative. So this is happens to
Oh.
be that relative pronoun.
Oh, that
In the
is
dative.
dative?
Mhm.
Okay,
So this one's a little different than the dare word for the plural dare word, the plural
Right.
D, I should say. Okay, so we'll go back and fix that on that chart.
Okay.
Because by is a um
Dative.
dative, yeah. Die Straßenbahn, mit der man schnell in das Stadtzentrum fahren kann, hält vor dem Haus.
Dare for
Mhm.
Daremon.
Mhm. And then das Wohnhaus, hinter dem ein schöner Garten liegt, hat noch zwei andere Wohnungen.
Dame.
Mhm. Very good. Gut, gut, gut. Fix that. Was D.
You had it right.
Yep. Should not double think, think about it twice. It's just like taking a test. Don't go back and fix it.
Right, right.
So the position of the relative pronoun and the verb. In German, the preposition and the relative pronoun have to stay together. The preposition will be in front of the relative pronoun, and in front of the preposition, there is a comma. Because relative clauses are dependent clauses, the conjugated verb goes at the end. Okay, so just like the subordinate clauses. All right, so ich möchte mit einer Person leben, die Spaß haben mag. I want to live with a person who likes to have fun. So here's the D. So Komma und die. Ich möchte mit einer Frau wohnen, die ich nett finde. Okay, again, Komma und die. Das geht mit zu die Frau, die Person. Ich möchte mit einem Mann wohnen, den ich sympathisch finde. Okay, so the Mann and then den, because it is accusative, because ich finde den sympathisch. Okay, ich möchte in einem Haus leben, das in der Innenstadt ist. Ich möchte in einer WG wohnen, die nicht sehr teuer ist.
Okay.
Goes back to those nouns. Ich möchte in einer Wohnung wohnen, die nicht so viele Nebenkosten hat. Ich möchte in einer Wohnung leben, die 3 Zimmer hat. Ich möchte mit keiner Person leben, die eine Katze besitzt. Ich möchte mit keinen Leuten wohnen, die sehr früh aufstehen. Ich möchte mit keiner Person leben, der ich nicht vertrauen kann.
What's vertrauen again?
Trust.
Ah,
Okay. So in vertrauen is a dative verb. That's why this is in the dative. Because die Person. Okay. Ich möchte mit einer Person leben, mit der ich leicht sprechen kann. Ich möchte mit einem Menschen leben, mit dem ich gut auskomme. Ich möchte in einer Wohnung wohnen, für die ich nicht so viele Nebenkosten bezahlen muss.
okay.
Dann ich möchte in einem Haus leben, in dem ich mich wohlfühle. So where do you want to live? In dem ich mich wohlfühle. Ich möchte in einer WG wohnen, in der viele Menschen auch wohnen. Ich möchte in einer Wohnung wohnen, in der es wenigstens 2 Badezimmer gibt.
That's gonna take some practice.
Yeah, is you have to just keep reminding yourself the pronoun goes with the number and gender of the noun it's preceding. So you have to go look for that noun. It isn't the ich, it's eine Wohnung right here. And then yet its cases dependent on what's going on in the clause. Is it a preposition? Then it's governed by the preposition. Over here, it's what is its function in here? Die nicht so viele Nebenkosten hat. Here it's the subject. Let's see. Here it's dative because of the Vertrauen, because of the verb. Because ich is the subject of that clause. Ich kann ich kann dir vertrauen. Can't really try to put this in a good regular sentence. So ich kann nicht der vertrauen, der Person. Die sehr früh aufstehen. So here again, it's the subject, so it's nominative. Die eine Katze besitzt. So a person who owns a cat. So again, this die is the subject of the clause. Die Spaß haben mag. So a person who likes to, die mag Spaß haben. Die ich nett finde, here it's accusative because ich finde die nett. Okay, and here again, accusative, den ich sympathisch finde, ich finde den sympathisch.
Okay.
So you just have to, this is probably the part that will be hard, is figuring out the function in the sentence.
Yeah.
What are you trying? What are they trying to say? Whereas, and remember, it's always the noun that's closest to the relative pronoun. Okay, because here it's in a prepositional phrase, but we're talking about die Person, not ich. Doesn't
Right.
go all the way back to the front. It's the
Right.
closest noun to that relative pronoun.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, there was, da war etwas mit den Hausaufgaben. Let me find this because I was going over those today, early this morning, and I found some things that everybody was kind of having trouble with. I have to remember which ones these were.
Yeah, I went over mine. I saw, I just kind of was getting careless about the case.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't know if it was with the adjectives, with the dative. I know I should have written them.
I had trouble with the two-way prepositions.
Maybe that's what it was the two ways. So let's go back to this. Okay. You weren't the only one that had.
Good.
Yeah, so I'm gonna use yours,
Okay.
but you weren't the only one. Others had this problem too. All right, so so the very first one, wo sitzt Großmutter? Großmutter sitzt bei dem Tisch or beim Tisch. So this bei and mit are usually used with people. Wenn man am Tisch sitzt, man sitzt an dem Tisch. You sit at the table using the an. because you're, on it's like, well, you're not on the table, you're not sitting on top of the table, but you're
Right.
at the table. So, because that on can also be, that you are, well, that's auf dem Tisch though. So on would have been better here.
Yeah.
Großmutter sitzt am Tisch. And then here, geht zu das Fenster, geht am Fenster. Or an das Fenster, because this is a wohin geht die Dame. So an das Fenster, not zu. And if you
Yeah.
use zu, this would have to have been in the dative case, because zu takes that. But up to the window is on, you have to go an das Fenster. So again, you're going onto the window. Und dann, wo ist mein Mantel? This is right. Der Mantel ist auf dem Bett, because it's laying on top. Nummer 5. Wo ist der Regenschirm? Der Regenschirm ist hinter der Tür, because it's answering the question wo, not accusative.
Yeah.
Und dann
Right. Yeah.
do you see that? It's already there. It's
I had my little cheat sheet off to the right incorrect. I said
Oh.
location is accusative. It should have been location is dative.
right. And this one, wohin läuft der Hund? Hinter die Tür. This one you fix.
Yeah, same thing.
Hinter das Sofa. I'm sorry. Yeah, and here you wrote dem Sofa, so it's flipped, because wohin geht der Hund? Hinter das Sofa.
Yeah.
Motion is accusative. Yeah, I see what you wrote here.
Yeah.
Und dann 11 war, wo hängt die Lampe? Oben, über, above. Oben is
Oh.
above, but it's not a preposition. It's just when you say, wo ist das Bild oben? It's, above. Wo ist der Himmel? Oben. It's not over anything. It's just above. So,
Okay.
okay. The rest were all good. Okay, so those are those with the two-way prepositions. You just have to remember, is it wohin oder wo?
Right.
Okay, and then this. Stop. Get quick. Okay.
I don't know, maybe. But won't take a few days to get it. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Pretty, we literally never bought any. Anyone? Other coffee. We bought 6
Everything else was good.
But I did the research.
I think the rest was good. All right, so Fragen über irgendetwas? Any questions about any of this today?
No, I just like that we record it and then I can go
Yeah,
back
yeah.
and
Ja, letzte Woche
pause.
habe ich vergessen, aber diese Woche nicht. I forgot.
I know.
So
I know.
Ja, wie ich fertig war, weil wenn man es, when I ended it, it does it records it. And I was like, oh my gosh, hab wieder vergessen. So this time I turned it on right away.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So gleich, so gut dann. All right.
I'm going to have to miss on Thursday. We,
Okay.
we're going to a concert and dinner at the Buck Owens Crystal Palace, taking Chrissy there to introduce her to the Bakersfield Sound.
Oh, sure. Viel Spaß. All right,
Yes.
dann. Gut, dann viel Spaß und dann sehen wir uns, Maya, am Donnerstag und Cheryl dann die nächste Woche.
Yep.
Danke.
Sounds good. Take care.
Danke. Tschüss.
Bye. Tschüss.